Hello everyone, my name is Saksham Dikshit and this is my channel Pentest Diaries. Today I'll make another video on the same series of lazy programming series, and in this video itself I'll try to cover a lot of concepts. So it's not one, two, three, it's a lot of concept. So we'll start with like access specifiers itself, where I just want to discuss about the public, protected and the private one. Then we go ahead further and we are trying to understand the concept of, any guesses, that is a polymorphism. And inside of the polymorphism we have to discuss about four methods, four things which is coming under the category of it. That was method overriding, another one is a duck typing, the third one is the operator overloading, and the last one is a method overloading itself. So we'll try to cover a lot of things. This is a 7 pages document which I prepared for you. It includes the uh, it includes the codes, description about it, details about it, the screenshot, the code and snippet, along with that output also. Everything I'll try to get it explained over here itself. So try your best to understand that with the code, and whatever the things I'll try to get it transferred to you in this video itself. That is most important. Okay, so I'll give it a clear understanding on it, and after that I'm reading the content for you. Reading the content is one of the things which will make you understand about it. But if I'll make you understand about the public, private and protected and why we required in a Python itself, that I'll just try to make you understand very well first. So if we're talking about anywhere a public itself, so it's as obvious, this is can utilize. If we are defining anything in some as a public itself inside of the class, this will be get it accessible for anyone. Okay, it's not having any restrictions. That is most important. Now if we're talking about the protected one, before going further with the private, I'll go for the protected one. So in case of protected one, what exactly is happening? If we're defining anything inside of the superclass, now I know that you are able to understand the superclass, so I'm just taking the word straightforward. So if anything we are defining as a protected in case of superclass itself, then in that case a subclass can utilize that attribute or a method, whatever is it, as per the need itself, it can get it utilized, and even we can call it with the object itself. Okay, but the protected means it will not utilize by any other code, any other class itself. That is most important. So what exactly, I'll just make you once again understand. Like the subclass within a class, in a subclass itself, which inherited from the same class itself, and we can call it with objects also. That's also one thing. But the restrictions is coming in the way you can't utilize in another class or by any other code itself. You can't utilize it. This is whenever we are defining anything as a protected, we have a limitation such a way itself. If we're talking about the private, so private is totally different over here itself. With the code you are able to understand more about it, but I will try to make you understand about it. When we are defining anything, any instance, or I can say the method we define as a private, then in that case that to be get it called only by the function, only by the class itself when we are defining the object. But at the time of calling it, when you're defining the object also, in that case also we have to give it a complete path. Like we have to define it, the class name also, along with that we have to define the method name. Now there's a tweak between a protected. In case of protected, when we are defining any I can say that a method to be a protected or variable to be a protected, then in that case we have to use underscore one time. But if we're talking about the private, then in that case we have to use underscore twice. So that's a difference. When you're seeing inside of the code twice time any method or any variable to be get defined, then in that case make sure that that variable is a private variable itself. And then if you're talking about the another one, protected one, it's underscore, is a single time underscore utilized, then in that case it's a part of the protected one. Now I'm reading the content for you, and you will able to understand. Don't worry about it, you will able to understand how exactly it differ from each other. Like when you're seeing the code, a practical code, you can able to understand each and everything about it. Okay, don't worry about it, I'll try to cover each and everything. This might be a long video, but I want to make you understand for all these sections for it. Okay, so I'm reading the content now for you. So in case of Python, access control is a bit different compared to the language like a Java and C++. So If we're talking about the access control, we don't have that much access control in case we are not having that much privilege in case of Python. Like there is a limitations. We don't have that much privileges in case of Python, which we have it in case of Java and C++. C++ is, I can say that, a more secure language itself. We can utilize it. Like there was a reason from the ages itself we are utilizing C++. Python is also utilized for a longer time itself, but it's not having that much security. Python does not have, I can say that, a keyword like a public, private, protected to specify the access level. There's nothing like a access level which we can define in other programming languages. We don't have that concept inside of the Python. However, it does have a convention and some mechanisms for controlling access to attributes and the method. So that's a most important. Like we don't have any type of label which we have it in other programming languages, but if we have some convention and a mechanism just to controlling the access of attributes and the method. By that way, like a protected, public, and a private, we can define it the attributes and the methods accordingly as per our need. Okay, going further with the public itself, what we talking about the public, what exactly is the public itself? In Python, all the attributes and the methods are public by default. So this is a main statement which you have to be remember all the time. By default, when you're making anything inside of the class itself, that's by default is coming under the category of complete public. If you're not defining anything as a private or protected, it's by default taking as a public itself. This means they can be accessed from outside the class also, that it's understood. Now if I talk about the private itself, so private, it's having different type of objective. Python uses name mangling. That is one of the things which I'll try to get it explain you about it. What is a name mangling? To create a kind of private attribute or method. If an attribute or a method name start with two underscores, then in that case the Python will internally rename it as underscore class name, then underscore underscore attribute name. Okay, that's the way by which we are defining the syntax for the private. This makes it difficult to access from the outside the class itself. Like if you want to get it access, like by default, if you are not at the time of calling it, you forget about it. So that is the main reason behind it. We are defining a syntax in such a way where we have to give the class name specified over there itself. Instead, if you are not defining the class name along with that attribute, or I can say that the method, and then in that case definitely this will not be get it call and you can't print anything on your screen. That's the main reason behind it. But it's not truly private since it can still be accessed with the mangled name. This concept I will explain you, don't worry about it. However, it serves as a convention to indicate that the attributes or a method is intended for internal use by the class. That is most important. So ultimate motive is just to get it access internally inside the use by the class only, nowhere else. Okay, that's the main purpose of the private. Now name mangled, we have just heard about this term a lot of time. But what exactly is it? So name mangled, like when we are trying to call similar like a protected, if we're trying to call a private, then at the time that will give us an error, like this will not allow you. So the name mangled means like we have to define the name of the class also before that in the syntax. So underscore the class name, then underscore underscore the attribute name we have to define. This we call as a name mangled. So by that way we are not defining this class name over there before the attribute name, we can't call the private section for it. So that was the reason behind it. We are defining this name as a name mangled. Okay, don't confuse with that. Now talking about the protected one. So in case of Python does not have a true protected access specifier like some other languages. Conventionally, attribute or the method prefix with a single underscore are considered protected. This more of a hint to other developers that the attribute or a method is not intended to use outside the class, but there is nothing in Python to enforce this. So now this is the main reason behind it. Protected is bit underscore we have to use it before that attribute name. That is one of the thing, and this can be get it utilized by the subclasses of the class, and even like as when you define the object you can get it, you can call that. So that's coming under the category of protected. I think like I have covered the stuffs very well. The remaining one I'll try my best to get it covered in the code. When we are seeing the practical code of it, definitely you will able to understand the whole concept behind. Don't worry about it, I'll try my best to cover each and everything. Now going further with that, this is also one of the thing you can read it about it. I'm not covering once again. Now I'm going to the main section for it, which is that's first one is also a main section, but this is also one of the thing which we have to cover. So there are four subsections of it which we want to get it covered in this video. Going further with this, if we're talking about the polymorphism, what exactly a polymorphism? So polymorphism in Python refers to the ability of different object to respond to the same message. So if I'll talk about on a larger way, how exactly the polymorphism. So it's a straightforward single line statement whenever we want to respond something and we want it to be get it respond in a different way. Taking example, if I'll try to calculate something, if I'll just print something over there itself with two numbers over there and putting one operator in between of it, then in that case the addition of it and we get the response as a numerical one, okay, num1. But if we're talking about like if we're defining inside of the print function, we are defining two string variable and we wanted that to be get it combined, or the same integer number we want to put in double quotes and we wanted that to be get it print. So if we are putting an addition in between of it, both the numbers to be get it combined, not added, it's combined. So that's a difference. So way of expressing the stuffs that's most important in case of polymorphism, either this is first of the way where we are just utilizing without double quotes, then in that case that numbers to be get it added. But in case of next case, if we're talking about both the numbers to be get it combined, but as it's we consider this as per the program this is considered as a string, then in that case it's get combined, not get it added. That is a category of the polymorphism. Now we have four section coming under the category of it. First is a method overriding, the second one is the duck typing, the third one is a operator overloading, and the last one is a method overloading. So we'll just start with the first one, which we're talking about a method overriding. So what is method overriding? So method overriding in Python refers to the ability to redefine a method in a subclass that already exists in its superclass. What it means, like taking example in a class, and there is a superclass and there is a subclass. Okay, you have two methods, you have one method inside the subclass also, and the same you have it same method you have it inside the superclass also. But as few have defining anything inside of the subclass itself, that to be get it reflect the superclass also. So taking example, whatever the statement, whatever the activity you're performing inside of the subclass with that same method name, that to be get it reflected in the superclass also, that it's coming under the category of the method overriding, where the content of the subclass method to be get it override with the superclass method. That is the term we call it as a method overriding all the time. So I'm reading the content once again, you can able to understand that. Method overriding in Python refers to the ability to redefine a method in a class that already exists in its superclass. When a method is overridden in a subclass, the subclass provides a new instance of the method that overrides the behavior of the method in the superclass. Okay, that is the main statement behind it. Like whatever that whatever the behavior we have it inside of the subclass, that to be get it reflected of the superclass also. So the content will be get it reflected of the subclass to be get reflected in the superclass also. That is all about the method overriding. Okay, this is a code for it. I'll run it for you, then you can able to understand more about it. Now going to the duck typing. So this is something different over here itself, where we just trying to fake it. Like over here itself, we are not concerned about the class type or the class of the object. We just concerned about it whether whatever the stuffs we are getting it, whether the same thing we are getting it in both the ways or not. If we are getting both the methods are getting, we are getting a same content, then in that case we consider as the equivalent one. So what I mean by that, you can able to understand. Duck typing in Python is a concept where the type or a class of the object is less important. That's not at all be important. Okay, class and the object is not important than the method it defines. So the method is most important other than the class and the object in case of duck typing. It's a way of thinking about interfaces in a dynamic language like Python. The term comes from saying if it looks like a duck, swim like a duck, and quack like a duck, then it's probably is a duck. So like if whatever the conditions we have it, if it's get fulfilled, then we consider this as a actual thing which we are looking for it. In Python you often do not need to specify the type of an object. Instead you can rely on whether an object supports the necessary method or attributes. So over here, overall, if I'll talk about it, method is most important other than the object in the class, and whatever that method is getting defined, that to be considered as it is. Like consider as it is means like what if we are defining over there itself, if it's considered a similar type of thing which we are looking for, then in that case we consider that that's true. That is coming under the category of the duck typing, that you can able to understand when we are seeing the code itself. Okay, this is the concept behind it. So now talking about the operator overloading, loading. So that's most obvious with the name itself. You can able to understand. If we try to get put something somewhere as a add itself, and that to we get it override with that function which we define inside of the class. So what exactly I mean by that, like at the time of outside the class, if I'm defining any object over there itself, and at the time of performing some operations over there itself, but whatever the operator I'm mentioning over there itself, that operator to be get it override with that method which is already be similar, like if a plus symbol will be there, if we have the method present in the class, that to be get it override over there itself, and we get the results as per that stuff which you're looking for it. So override is a mean where we are overriding the math operator with that methods over there itself present in the class, that it's coming under the category of the operator overloading, sorry. If we're talking about the last section, that is a method overloading itself. So what exactly is it? What is method overloading? So method overloading, I will tell you with that code itself instead of reading the lot of things about it. I'll read for you, but the thing is that with that code itself, you will understand that what I mean by that. So over here itself, inside of the same class, we are defining two methods, but in both the both the methods having a same name, but whatever the parameter we're trying to get it pass over there itself, it's having a quantity different. Like in case of first one we have two parameters, like okay, and in case of second method inside of the same class we have three parameters to be get it pass. So that is coming under that, and the term coming under the category of the method overloading means like whatever the second one, it's get overload with the first one. So when I'm trying to pass anything over here itself, this will not work for us as this is overload by the second one. So second one is a primary having it, and this will not work. Even if we're trying to call it, we are getting the error over here. So that's coming under the category of the concept of method overloading. Okay, now I'll read the content for you. In Python, method overloading typically refers to the ability to define multiple methods with the same name but with different numbers or types of parameters, which we have discussed about it. However, unlike some other programming languages like Java or C++, Python does not support method overloading in the traditional sense. In language like Java, method overloading allows you to define multiple methods with the same name but different parameter list, and the appropriate method is chosen by the compiler based on the argument passed at the call site. That's most important. I'm reading this line once again. The method with the same name but the different parameter list, and the appropriate method chosen by the compiler based on the arguments passed at the call site. So it's totally depend on how many arguments get it passed in that method itself. At the time of compile only, it will pick by the compiler. Okay, now in Python, since you have defined default parameters value and the variable length argument list, you can achieve you can achieve similar functionality without needing to explicitly overlook methods. Okay, that's the overall understanding on it. Like if we are defining in both the way itself, this will be overloaded as this is having three parameters, so compiler will pick this, and when I try to run pass two parameters, and at the time I'm getting the error itself. I'll be a spoiler like before running the code itself, but I want you to make you understand about that was the reason I tell you like this will give us an error if we have just already commented over here itself. like in my code itself that was commented. So if you're trying to compile this code, that will not work. You're getting the error as this line will not work. Okay, I'll make you understand. So I think the stuff is a bit clear to you from the theory point of view. Now we'll see the practical section for it, where we can able to understand all the concepts behind it with the practical, seeing the code of it. I'll try my best to cover that all the things in a clear way about it. Okay, so let me go. So these are the codes, almost a 5 codes this time. I'll try to get it covered. Till yet I think the max we have covered are 3 codes in one lecture, but this time I'll try to cover 5 code to you so that it's bit clear for you, each and every scenario, make you understand about it. Okay, so now going further with that, what exactly the private, protected, and the public. So over here itself we are defining one of the class, and the name of the class you can able to understand, it's my class with colon. Now this is the constructor, I'm giving it over here itself. Okay, over there I'm just trying to pass a values 10, 20, and 30. I'm already defining the value over there. So instead of giving it from the object end, I'm just giving it already be over there itself, defining it from my side. Okay, now what is that? This is most important. This is one of the variable which we call as a public, this is a protected, and this is a private one. Okay, now going further with that, in the class itself we have defining 3 methods. First method is a public method, we are printing this. The second one is a protected method, we are printing this. And in case of private, we are defining this. In case of protected, you can able to see it's underscore one time, but in case of private, twice time underscore we are defining it. So this is the class stuff which we have already understand now. Now going further with the another portion of it, where the object and everything will be get defined. So I'm defining the object over here itself with the my class. Clear? Now what I'm supposed to do, I'll try to access the public first. Okay, so what I'm supposed to do, I'll use the object dot public underscore atr. Okay, so what I'm supposed to do, I will able to get it print this. Okay, when I try to call this, I'm able to get it print 10. Now another way, what I'm supposed to do, instead of just using the print, I'm using a object dot and that method I'll try to mention over here, so and I can get the output as public method. This is bit easy, like it's similar like the whatever we are doing it in a previous lectures also of the class. Now going further with the protected one. So in case of protected one also, we'll do the same thing, but make sure that you have to put underscore. Make sure that is most important. If you're missing that, you will not able to print the stuff which is present inside the class. So for this also, I'll do the same thing. I'll use it underscore protected underscore atr, and that value to be get printed with the object. Now for that method one, I'll do in such a way itself, I'll defining a similar type of whatever we are doing for the public, similar we are doing for the protected also, as this will be called for by the subclasses and even by the object itself. Now we're talking about the private one. What are we supposed to do? So in case of private, these are the statement. If I'll try to uncomment and try to run it, this will not work. As the reason is that we have talked about one of the term, that is a name mangling. That is most important over here itself. So at the time when we want to print the content of the private one, we have to give in such a way. So this is the object name. Now we have to give the class name over here itself, underscore dot underscore the class name, then twice time underscore, and then we have to give the name of the variable over here itself. Okay, that I'm giving it. Now in similar that for the method also we're supposed to do the same way. We have to put it underscore after putting the object, then we have to put dot, then we have to mention underscore, then we have to give the name of the class, then underscore we have to give it as it's as obvious it's a private, that was the reason, and we have to give the name of the method over here itself, and that will work for us. Okay, I hope I have cleared, make you understand about the private, public, and protected concept very well. Let me run it and you can able to see the same result. Okay, this is clear. Now going to the next section. So if you're talking about the next section, what exactly is this? So I will make you understand about it. What is this? So this is a method. This is a method overriding. So what we supposed to do, whatever the method you are seeing it over here itself. In both the cases, you are seeing a method over here itself, that to be get it override. Okay, what exactly it means? The class is defined. Now I'm defining one of the method over here itself, and the method I'm just putting a name as make underscore sound, and now I'm putting this content inside of it to be get it print. Now I'm making another class with a dog name, and this is become a subclass as we are inherited from the super class, that is the animal one. I'll put this method inside of it. Now similar like that for the cat, for the dog also, and for the cat also I'll do the same thing. Animal is a super class for it. Make sure this you have to understand that make sound is a common method inside of the superclass and both the subclass also. Now at the time of defining the instances, I have mentioned is dog equal to dog, and for the cat also the cat. Now what I'm supposed to do, dog dot make underscore sound. So in this case what exactly is happening, any guesses? Which we discussed about it, overriding. So whatever the thing we have it inside of the subclass, that to be get it override, that to be get it override. So that was the reason this we are considering is the most important, and that to be get it printed. So when we are calling this, we are seeing this value to be get it printed, and for the second one also we are able to print this value meow. Okay, the reason is that this method will override the superclass itself. The superclass method to be get it override as we are defining a same method inside of the subclass. So subclass method will override the superclass method also when we are defining in such a way. Okay, so that's all about the method overriding. Okay, now we talk about the next concept, which we can say are duck typing. So what is duck typing? Any idea about it? So we have discussed about the duck typing. Over here itself, we are defining one of the class. Clear about it. We are defining one of the function over that a name a quack. Now another class I'm defining it over here itself with a person, and I'm defining a same name function over there itself. Now one function I'm defining outside both the classes. This is the one. Okay, now what I'm supposed to do, I'll just try to call duct equal to duct. So I'm just defining the objects over here itself. That was the reason I'm just making a duct and the person also over to be get it defined. Now make underscore int underscore, this is the one I'm defining it over here itself. Now inside of this function, this method, I can say that I'll try to call first as a duct this, and next one time I'll just try to call the person. So what exactly is happening in both the cases, as we have discussed at the time of seeing the duck typing, the class and the object is not at all be important for this duck typing. Only the method is most important. So in both the cases we can able to see the method quack over here itself. So this will run, and whatever that stuff we have it inside of these methods, that to be get it printed on our screen. So that's the reason behind it. It doesn't matter it's belong to which class object, doesn't matter for it, as it's a part of the duck typing. Then in that case the method which is present inside of both the classes, it to be get it reflected, the content to be get it reflected. So when I run this, you can able to see I can able to print both the content which is present inside of the classes. I think this is done. Now we'll go to the third. So in case of third one, we talk about the operator overloading. So what it means, so operator overloading means like we are defining first a class, one class, and inside of that we are defining three functions or method. I can say that this is a constructor, and over here itself this is for the addition, this is for the string. Clear? Now what we're supposed to do, I'll be defining two objects over here itself, which are point 1 and point 2. In both the points I'll try to transfer 1 or 2, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. So in case of x, initially is 1, and then after that the next time I'll just try to get transfer 3, and by the y I'm just trying to transfer 2, and then in the point 2 itself I'll try to transfer 4. Okay, in both the categories two values are coming in x and two values are coming to the y itself. Now when I try to run this over here itself, this addition will get it converted to be overload with the function method which we have defined inside of the class. So this is the method which is already be present, this to be get it overload, I can say that overload with this operator. That was the reason we have calling this as a operator overloading. We are replacing this this operator with this method itself. So whatever the value we have inside of the point and the point 1 and point 2, that to be get it added, and when we try to print the result, then in that case we get that output as 4 and 6. If I'll try to print it, I can able to see 4 comma 6 itself. 4 from the x, and y we have it 6. Okay, that's bit clear to you. Now we go to the last section, that is a method overloading. So what it means. So method overloading, we have discussed about it, but I'll just make you once again understand about it. This is one of the class. I think the whole code is not printed. 1 minute. I think something is missing over here itself. 1 minute. Let me try to print that, put that code once again. If I able to print, paste it. I think no, this is not the way. Okay, let me try to make it. Okay, I just have to make it appropriate so that you can able to understand. Okay, okay, now what we have to do. Okay, okay, the code is ready. Instead of pausing the video, I think I can make it that in such a way. So one class we are defining it over here. So with the name animal, we are defining one method inside of it, that's make underscore sound. It's look like a similar in the previous, I think the first one which we discussed about it, but don't worry about it. I'll make you understand about it what I mean over here itself. Now another class we are defining over here itself, and with the dog name. Okay, and this is a subclass. This is a subclass for the previous. So this is a superclass. This is a subclass. Now I'm defining another class which are with the name calculator. Now what I'm supposed to do, I'll define it two method inside of it. One method we have defined inside of it, and both having the same method. Now inside of this this class itself, which is not at all be a subclass, not a, this is even not I consider as a superclass itself, as it's not having any subclass. So it's having two method present inside of it with the same name. So that's most important. We are talking about the method overloading. So we have two methods with the same name over here itself inside of the same class. Now what exactly is happening, I will make you understand about it. This is one of the object we are making it over here, so with the calcs, and we are defining one of the calculator. So we are defining this over here itself. Okay, this is done. Now what I'm supposed to do, I'll use the object dot add. Okay, in case of 2 comma 3, and the another one I'm using 2 comma 3 comma 4. So what I'm supposed to do over here itself, I just bit confused about it. Like this one you can't use it over here itself, but as I put it over here itself, that's okay. But if you want to remove that, you can remove it, not a big deal. Okay, we are not utilizing these two classes over here itself, but as I've copied it directly from the code, I'm just making it at that time. I've copied the above one, that was the reason. Okay, so if you do not want it, you can remove this content, and you just have to consider it only on this method. I can say that this class. Now what exactly is happening, as we are running with the method overloading, so we can see this is method number 1, this is method number 2 with the same name. So at the time, as we can see in method number 2 with the same name, we are seeing 3 parameters, but in case of method number 1, we are seeing only 2 parameters with the same name. Now what we're supposed to do, at the time when I'm compiling the code, it will run it and it will consider this as a main method. This is the primary method instead of using this, as it's having 3 parameters. So we just giving a priority to this second method instead of the method 1. Okay, that's the reason behind it. As it's having 3 parameters, that was the reason behind it. So when I try to run it, let me run it, I will get the error. Why I'm getting the error, the reason is that when I'm running this, so I will this is the first line to be get it executed, and when I run this line, it will go to over here itself and just go for this section. But unfortunately, as it's already be overloaded and this having a priority, and when I try to run this, it's not having a third parameter value. That was the reason we are getting the error. Now if I'll comment this line and try to run the same code once again, this will work for me. I get the output as 9 itself. So what it means, method overloading, if we having two methods with the same name, and if we have same parameters type, then it's okay, we have to go with another way itself. But if we have a count of parameters which are passing for the same method, it's different. Then in that case we have the priority only for that method which having more parameters than the another one. So that was the reason we go with the highest parameter count method instead of with the lower one. Okay, and that was the reason we're trying to call less values. In that case we get the error. If we comment that line and run the code once again, we can able to get the output appropriately. So that's all about the stuff which I want to get it cover in this video. So I think you are able to understand all the concept which I want to get it cover in this video itself. If you like this video, it's take a lot of time for me to make this content available to you, provide the codes and everything. So if you like this video, please subscribe my channel. Thank you so much once again. Take care. Bye bye.